The first recorded cases of syphilis were in southern Europe in the 1490s. It rapidly spread across the continent, ravaging cities and ports for over 400 years. With its devastating symptoms, its sexual means of transmission, and its extreme contagiousness, it became the most feared disease since the plague. It wasn't until the early 20th century and the arrival of penicillin that a cure was finally discovered.
So what would some of the symptoms of syphilis have been?
Well, some of them, they might have been very obvious. Here's a picture, for instance, and this is the so-called exanthema, or the pustular rash over the face. This is from a German textbook of the time, about the same sort of time that, that Ada was having her children. That's fairly, not very nice. Now, the other major thing that syphilis does is to cause blindness.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of people who were born with syphilis went blind 5, 6, 7, 8 years later. And it causes a clouding over of the cornea.
Right.
And these are the pictures that we have here of blindness.
Right, OK. So that may answer my next question, which was going to be the fact that Ada was blind, but as we understand, she became blind at about 3 years old. Could that have been syphilis or not?
That could have been syphilis, and we've been doing a little bit of work on it. We found this.
Right. Oh, right, it's her birth certificate. OK. So Ada's born 1st of November 1872.
Yep.
Excellent.
That doesn't tell us very much, but I have to say we found something else.
OK. This is a death
certificate from January 1872.
Of Arthur Stanley Meldrum. Oh, I see. So this is her brother.
This is her elder brother.
Right, so he died at 3 months.
Yep.
Syphilis.
Yep.
Christ. Congenitals, that's
no,
no constitutional.
Constitutional syphilis.
Which means?
Which means that the syphilis that he had was so obvious that they couldn't miss it. It must have been blatantly obvious. So if Arthur died in January, and Ada was born in November, she must have been conceived at just after Arthur died.
Yeah.
Which means that there's a very strong chance that she might have had syphilis. She might have been born with syphilis, lived with it, not, apart from perhaps the blindness, been seriously harmed by it.
So clarify for me then, Ada, it looks like, could have been born with syphilis.
Yep.
It works itself out.
That's right. Yep.
But then she can catch it again.
Yeah, just because you've had it before doesn't mean to say you can't catch it again.
Yeah.
For this to happen, she must have caught it from Richard.
Yeah, really, yeah. So she would have had syphilis twice in her life. Once she was born with it, and once when she was infected with it.
Sadly. How long did she live?
Till about 90.
Well, she had a pretty good innings then.
Yeah, very good innings.
At the time that this family were around, 100 years ago, about 1 in 10 people in Britain had syphilis. And you could almost say that if 10% of people had syphilis, then 10% of people doing genealogy searches have a sporting chance of finding it somewhere in their family tree.
Okay,
so you're not the only one.
The thing was with Richard and Ada, I don't know if they know they had it. I mean, they probably didn't know they had it. And amazing still that she lived to be in her 90s, having had syphilis twice and been blind all her life. So yeah, I mean, she was tremendously unlucky in a lot of ways, but also she lived to see her children grow up and have grandchildren. So like everything in life, there's the other side of it, which is very blessed, I suppose. Everything I know about my father's side of the family, pretty much everything, has happened on this journey. So it's a lot to take in a short space of time. And some of it's been really exhilarating, and some of it's been shocking. You kind of wonder how many other extraordinary characters everyone's got in their family, you know, that we're all made up of these extraordinary people.
Martin's back in London to to see if he can find out more about what caused the deaths of Ada and Richard's children.
I'm immediately curious about the children who've died. Because even when people say, well, you know, there was a higher infant mortality rate, there's no way that can't kill you as a parent. To happen 6 times.